Hi, this is Nadia Ali. Nadia Ali is a girl from New York, well, raised in New York, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm particularly focused on electronic music. Actually, I was part of the group called IO, which was another electronic group with a producer named Marcus Moser. And now I am moving on to my solo project.
On an escapade and always keep the vision. Can we open out and thread ourselves around the sand?
Well, the interesting thing is with the name Nadia Ali, it is an Arab name, it's a Persian name, it's a whole bunch of different names, and a lot of people ask me if I'm from, Egypt or, Iran and Pakistan or Bangladesh, and I basically have to always tell them that actually I was born in Libya, but my parents are actually from Pakistan, both of them. I originally sang as a hobby. It was not necessarily the most promoted thing in the house. My parents, they wanted me to study and go on to become a lawyer or a doctor. And I really didn't have much interest in that. I always just loved music and used to listen to music all day and night and used to sing. Basically just for the love of it. I never really received any training, or I didn't exactly study music theory, so when I sang it was purely for the thrill of performing and singing. I started writing poetry when I was 16 years old, 15 or 16. And I used to just write poems for my friends when they were like depressed. And they always used to tell me, you should write more poems and stuff. And I started writing a couple of songs when I was young, and I always had them, but I never really knew how to structure songs when I was younger. What happened was I used to work for Versace when I was 17 years old. I got a job there, and I was one of the youngest workers, so a lot of the co-workers were really just excited to have a young silly girl singing all day long. And so everyone in the office knew I used to sing. I used to sing for the Christmas parties and things like that. And one of the women that worked there actually was working with the same producer that was Marcus, who was the other half of IO. And she was working on a totally different project, and she said that I know a producer who needs a girl to sing on a couple of demos. So that's how I ran into him, and we just started from there, and that was in 2000. I try to have my own sound. I definitely borrow from a lot of different things. A lot of it comes from, there's different parts of me that, I'm influenced by certain people as far as my performance. I'm influenced by a different set of artists for my songwriting. And then I have a different style of singing based on a conglomerate of a bunch of artists. So I think I try to have my own sound. I think I try to keep it as natural as possible and try not to get too crazy. Rapture is a song that actually would have never happened. At the time when I was working with Marcus, we were working on a whole bunch of material. We were working on my solo project at the time, and it had a different vibe from what came out to be IO, and IO was actually born because of Rapture. I like to write my own lyrics. Well, I've always done that, only because it's very hard sometimes for me to sing something that I'm not necessarily feeling. So a lot of the times I try to sing something that is familiar to me. I mean, my parents were conservative. They weren't like, yeah, go ahead and do this. So I had a hard time first trying to, have this taken seriously. And being Pakistani, I feel like it's very, very important to set an example that, Pakistani women are, intelligent and very capable of being able to take their career into their own hands, not just music, any kind of arts, any kind of professional field. So I feel like I do have a responsibility to all women, not just Pakistani women, or any women that are sometimes stereotyped and oppressed, maybe. I think it's a really, really good thing, and I'm very proud that that I'm able to achieve some of the things that haven't been possible before.
At the end, 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 at the end.
When I receive attention for it, especially when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're from Pakistan, I'm really happy because I know that it's an important thing for people to recognize that people from the subcontinent and Muslims and all these other people are educated and are not, all into politics, and do love art and want to do positive things with their life.
Up I go, rebel am I, who, me, oh no.
The songs that are the most attractive and the most relatable songs to people are the ones that are the most heartfelt, simple songs, and the way I try to write them is usually to have something that's familiar to my listeners.
Thread ourselves around the sand, captivate the sun, keep the light till the world ends. Run away.
I think the most important thing for any artist is to always try to find your own original thing.